Hello, everybody. You may know that BILD is one of the largest newspapers in Europe. It is actually a tabloid, so it's more gossipy than political, but it has a political side and therefore is tremendously influential. Because it's gossipy and tabloid, like The Sun, for example, it has to be somewhat in touch with the ordinary people. And this is, of course, where it gets difficult. So it should be no surprise that Julian Reichelt, the editor in chief, has now been Me Too'd. In this case, it is not even clear harassment they accuse him of. It is more like they have found text messages which they will not disclose, and he had relationships with women. That is so far the accusation, and also he takes cocaine, and that they felt his behavior around women was inadequate. In other words, he had relationships with the women that worked for him, and so this is portrayed as an abuse of power. And of course, I mean, I would say, if it were everywhere else, this would be an abuse of power, and I don't like this kind of behavior from any boss, obviously. However, also, it should come as little as a surprise as to find out that, oh, Hollywood does have a casting couch, and oh, do you really believe that prostitutes have sex? You know what I mean? I mean, if you go into news media, you either have something to say that's very important, or you don't do it, because if you are a woman, there is really, there's not so much interest in how well you can write and how soft you can talk. What people actually care about is the same thing they care about when it comes to Hollywood actresses. Hollywood actress, journalist, and whore is basically one and the same job. So to me, singling out this one news editor is fishy, because I personally think that in the mainstream, this is commonplace. This is what's normally going on. You have cocaine, and you have whores, and you have people who sleep with their subordinates. This should actually not rile people up. And this is where the New York Times comes in. The New York Times went on a research spree to find evidence that the owner of Springer, which owns Politico, were a potential right-wing, far-right neo-Nazi extremist. And so the New York Times published an article which is behind the paywall, and I won't give them any sense, so I'm just showing you all the sources around it. But in that article, they have published a private message from Matthias Döpfner to some no-name author, TV host called Benjamin von Stuckrad-Barre. Don't remember that name. And in that private text message, Mr. Döpfner dared to compare the increasing authoritarian, censorship-happy state of today with the fallen East German dictatorship. And that very message, it's said to be an SMS, but it seems too long to me, was also published by Ben Smith on Twitter. It says, to add a little humor to our exchange, read the JR, that's Julian Reichelt, the former chief editor of BILD, who was Me Too'd. The Julian Reichelt comment today: this is only one current example why we have to be exact. It's really the last and only journalist in Germany to stand up against the new authoritarian GDR state. GDR or DDR in German is the East German dictatorship that has fallen with the Soviet Union. It stands for German Democratic Republic. If somebody has no money, he talks about money. If somebody has no democracy or republic, then he calls everything a democracy or republic. So the GDR, or in German, the Deutsche Demokratische Republik, is what he compares the current situation to. And he says Mr. Reich is the last and only journalist to still stand up against the new authoritarian GDR state. Almost everybody else has become a propaganda assistant. The guy makes new powerful enemies every day. we always have to distinguish exactly where the hostilities come from. For that reason, too, everything we've said yesterday remains true. So this was a conversation that was obviously confidential, but I don't know, I can't really prove it, but it seems to me that if it's a private conversation, it's somehow encrypted. He says it's an SMS, but it may be some other form of service, that it's only really the recipient that can leak such a conversation. So I don't really know much about this Stuckrad-Barre person. Now, this has been published on the New York Times, and of course, the New York Times tries to present this as evidence that you must be far right, far extremist, political right wing, in order to feel that we are slipping into communism again, that we are slipping back into socialism. And it's, by the way, that's not just an individual few. A lot of people who come from or who still live in East Germany, or who live in other Eastern former Soviet republics, Poland, Hungary, etc., feel reminded of what's of the old days. This is basically like the Cubans who came to America, and everybody tries to gaslight them and say, this is not Cuba, this is not Cuba, this is not as bad. Yeah, sure, it's not as bad. People are not yet arrested for simply speaking their minds, but we are clearly going into that direction. And when people are arrested, the trumped-up charges cannot be checked all the time by people who try to speak in public. And so we don't even know, right? We don't even know how much politicization has already occurred in the judicial system. Yes, we are not yet the East German dictatorship, but also, when do we start fighting back? It's always the same people who normally say we cannot fight fascism early enough. A joke could be, the first step to the next Auschwitz. Your Halloween costumes could reopen the cotton farms in the south of the United States, etc., etc. Always be aware, be very cautious, catch it early. The same people, when it comes to basically every other threat but racism, will go to the default of, as long as it's not as bad, exactly as bad, you shall not resist anything. That's the default. You shall never ever resist anything unless it is as bad. However, if it is already as bad, how would you then fight back? Because if it's that bad, you can no longer fight back. So you have to start early fighting back, haven't you? And it's the same people who obviously don't notice their contradictions, or what I believe, they absolutely don't care about their contradictions. They don't want to stop something again, like a Third Reich or the GDR or anything else. So yes, it is not yet that bad, but the magazine Übermedien has gone out of its way to contact all kinds of corporations that he has contact with in order to ask for their opinion, so they can publish their opinion over his transgression of comparing our slip into socialism with a slip into socialism. They have rung up everybody they could find, and he is the head of a lobby group, a journalism lobby group called the BDZV, Bundesverband Digital Publisher und Zeitungsverleger, which means Federal Association for Digital and Newspaper Publishing. And by the way, that name is terrible. That's a terrible German. Anyways, so he has since, because everybody is haunting him and is pretending that the owner of Politico is a far-right neo-Nazi extremist. Therefore, he has written an apology. And that reads, you all know that my critical comments, the keywords have been GDR authority, state, and PR assistant, were made in a private SMS. They were a part of a confidential dialogue. In such, words, you will understand, are usually not weighed with precision. There is an emotional, provocative, irrational, and spontaneous element in a bilateral conversation between seemingly confidence. And I think that seemingly is quite interesting, and it gives me a cue that Mr. Stuckrad-Barre may have leaked the conversation, but I don't know, okay? I can't accuse people of what I don't know. So between seemingly confidence, outsiders will inevitably not or only poorly understand it. So he's not defending it in any way, and he also, he is resorting to this. Oh, you somehow misunderstood what I said, but they all notice, and they are quite correct about it, that they understood him perfectly well. He was just saying what everybody else is thinking. He continues with, I can understand the upset under such condition. Here the condition is that the others are outsiders who supposedly don't understand. Therefore, I am very sorry that this unpredictable development has now also reached the journalism lobby BDZV, the publishers, and the sentiments of the journalists of both sexes. Of course, it does not say of both sexes, but in Germany we have a lot of ways to say it's a man or it's a woman, and he uses words for journalist in the male and the female form, which I think is not quite up to speed, because we know there are not only two genders, there are 60 at least, and so he should have maybe in a true apology where he really shows insight. He should have, come around to either list all the 60 genders or, leave asterisks in the text and gaps and so on to indicate that, there can be also journalists of multiple fluid genders. Everybody who knows me knows that my heart beats for free journalism and also for the Rechtsstaat in which we live. Now, Rechtsstaat is a word that I can't translate. It means at the same time the legal system, it means the rule of law, it means law and order, but also it means the legality of the rulers. And I think it's telling in and of itself that our leadership has created this compound word and proliferated over the media that means at the same time giving them legitimacy and also law and order. And this is what he, of course, swears to. And this is what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to say, we live in a Rechtsstaat. So we are democracy. Everything is fine. We don't complain. We live in a Rechtsstaat. And to contrast that, the GDR, the East German dictatorship, has been dubbed an Unrechtsstaat, non-Rechtsstaat. So that was not law and order. This is because the laws were not respected by the regime. I mean, the laws that restrict the acting high-ups that were not respected. Of course, your commoner is supposed to keep all the rules, but the high-ups are not. And in a Rechtsstaat, in the rule of law, everybody is treated equally under the law. So these are the contrasts, but it's baked into our rulers have legitimacy. And I think the constant swearing that, oh yes, we believe in our Rechtsstaat, this is psychoterror in and of itself. And I think the continuation just puts an emphasis on, how we are all fighting for the Rechtsstaat, and our elites are so great and they have full legitimacy. So I read it just in the context without explaining Rechtsstaat again. It says, everybody who knows me knows that my heart beats for free journalism and also for Rechtsstaat in which we live, and that my work and my mind are following those. I won't tire to fight for them. Okay, newsflash, if you have to go on your knees and and beg for forgiveness and, show your fealty to everybody all the time, then obviously you are showing to the world that this is becoming like the communist dictatorship which we hoped to have brought down. You're not actually showing the opposite. And I find it interesting how the New York Times and everybody's parading this as if it would show that, everybody can actually say what he wants. Everybody is free. Everybody, doesn't have to fear socialism, etc. And those who think that, they must be crazy. Yeah, sure. But also the high-ups who dare to speak out a little bit in private conversations, even they are shot down for the smallest indication that something is going wrong. He continues with the BDZV, that is this lobby group, is challenged with a new composition of Bundestag and executive branch. The German word here, Regierung, actually means government, but we don't really have a division of power, and therefore when a German hears Regierung, he usually means he thinks of the ministries and he thinks of the chancellor, who hold basically all the power with very little controls. So what he means here is the parliament, Bundestag, or the lower house to be exact, parliament and the executive branch. But of course the wording is the Bundestag, the parliament, and the government. Which shows you that the parliament is not seen as the government. Anyways, he continues with, we must and will do everything for a necessary media, political, and economic framework. He continues with, he asks for support and blah, 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 and signs the paper. I think what's interesting is that there is such a lobby group to begin with. If you dare say that our media is samish, that they are cooperating, etc., you are conspiracy theorists and so on, but also they come together as a unified group in a lobby organization, and he is the spokesperson thereof. Also, they are a lobby group, so they are advancing political goals in their own interests, economic framework goals, and we are not supposed to believe that our economy is slowly but steadily marching towards a state-controlled centralization. Particularly the media, we are supposed to believe that they are independent because they say so it must be true. Now, going back to that editor-in-chief of BILD who was Me Too'd, it is fairly obvious that they are targeting people. They want to eliminate competition. They want to eliminate opposition, individuals specifically, because they are not yet dependent enough of the government. We see an aggregation of power in the hands of ever fewer people, and the justification is just anything. Yes, of course, we should go after sexual harassment and uncomfortable work conditions for women, etc., etc. But then we also should, apply the rules equally. I'm very confident that a lot of people that, for legal reasons I can't name right now, are doing the very same thing. They are doing the cocaine. They're doing the brothels. They are doing, screwing their own stuff. They're doing all of these things, but they will only target conservatives. And if your position is it's not yet as bad, so you should not complain, then obviously you want people to wait until it is too late to do anything. And that can't be a reasonable position to begin with. Additionally, if it just were your position, we could ignore it. But you guys, and I mean the New York Times, I mean Übermedien and other newspapers and magazines, you guys are making it almost illegal, or you're presenting it as immoral to point out that we are heading in a direction of totalitarianism. When are we supposed to ultimately stand up? When are we supposed to stand up? That was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.